Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 119 of 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, also airing on Bowie Television. Now, we're very excited about this. Why are we very excited about this? Because it's another episode. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're getting deep into the NFL season. We're here at Week 15. We're a couple of weeks out from the playoffs. Uh, and we're the picture is not quite clear. There's a lot still going on, so we don't know exactly what's going to be what entering into the season. But with that being said, it is time for another edition of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Bowie Television. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's go. One, 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 one. One. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one. Legacy Maker Sports Network. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring you another episode of One-on-One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on Bowie Television. So we're glad to be with you as we get ready to bring you this latest episode and get into everything we need to get into. We got to get these power rankings a little bit more clear, but I don't know if we really can because it's such a tight window and there's so many teams still that are in the playoffs and have not been quote unquote mathematically eliminated. Currently right now there's only two teams that have been mathematically eliminated, and that is the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers. Everybody else is still in it here in Week 15, and that's probably going to change after this week, but we're getting a little bit closer to see who is going to be in. Now, we do know one team that is in the playoffs right now, and that is the San Francisco 49ers, because they won last week, and they needed the Packers to lose on Monday night, and guess what? The team did just that. They lost on Monday night. So great job. Just great job. Anyway, that's an argument for green and gold over everything for those who want to check it out. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the bottom. Let's get this thing started right here on One-on-One. All right. So the bottom here for Week 15 of this NFL season. Now, tonight we will see the Raiders take on the Chargers, which does not sound like that's going to be a lot of fun. Now that we know that Justin Herbert will be out for the rest of the season, we've had a lot of backup quarterbacks get some time this year, but it's also a good thing because we get a chance to see if any of those backup quarterbacks are worth a team's time. But let's go into the bottom. First, number 32, easily at number 32, the Carolina Panthers. I picked Carolina last week, wishing on a prayer and a dream, maybe thinking that my only Lone Ranger pick from our NFL Pick'em League here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and it just didn't happen. They made me look bad, and the final score in that bad boy was 28-6. So it didn't quite go in my favor. But Carolina continues to look terrible. And unfortunately, that since they gave or sent their number one pick to Chicago, they won't even be able to truly build on it through the draft, at least in the first round this year anyway. So Carolina's at 32, and it is what it is. At 31, the New England Patriots. They went in on Thursday night and had a decent showing against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is trying to stay in the playoffs. They're trying to stay. Right now, they're currently the 6th seed. They're trying to stay in the playoffs, but it's not looking good. it's been a little bit of a rough deal for them. So they've got to figure that thing out, because right now it's not looking too hot. They can't do anything offensively. And then you had Zeke go off. Zeke hadn't had a really good game in a long time, but Zeke had a really good game. And it's Zappe went in there, had 3 touchdowns, 240 yards, and the Patriots get a win over Pittsburgh. So go figure. But they're still at 31. At 30, the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals won a bye this week, still living high off of that win they had the week before against Pittsburgh. And so we'll see what they can do as they take on the 49ers this week. And that's going to be a test. But they do have Kyler Murray. And so you never know. At 29, the Washington Commanders. They were on a bye this week, so we did not have to see whatever was going to come from Washington this week. Look, we want the best for this team. Here on Bowie, we cover this team weekly, and we want to see the team do well. We love a lot of the players. There's some really good guys, on a personal level, but things have not been the way we would like to have seen them as media people, as well as for the fans. We don't get a chance to see the fans truly be happy this year. And, it's going to be some time, y'all. It's going to be some time in Washington. But they're 4-9. They're number 29 on our power rankings. At 28, the Raiders. Boy, what a barn burner they had with the Minnesota Vikings at home. This game went into the last 2 minutes, I believe, with the score 0-0. Nobody could score. It got so bad that Minnesota took out, everybody's favorite quarterback, the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, and they went with, I believe it was, and it's been a while, Nick Mullins. They went with Nick Mullins. He came in, led the drive that would give them the field goal to win the game. The Raiders had chances, and still just the offense looks bad. They've got to figure out the QB position. You got to stop wasting Devontae Adams. It's too much talent to be wasting out there in Vegas. Boy, poor Raiders. They're at 28. At 27, another team that's just going through tough times, and that's the LA Chargers, a.k.a. the San Diego Chargers. They lose to the Broncos 24-7, and on top of that, they lose Justin Herbert for the rest of the year. Tough deal. Tough deal for this Chargers football team. But they've got to find a way to get out there tonight and try to get a win against none other than the Raiders. So both teams still with playoff aspirations, but they're sitting at 5-8. They're about 2 games out of that spot, but there's still a chance. Chargers at 27. At 26, the New York Football Giants. Yes, I went over the Packers for them. And look, Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Matilda's dad, out there still doing really good things. I mean, what else can you say? So Matilda's dad out there doing amazing things. He goes and he gets a victory for this New York Giants team and keeps them alive in the playoffs. And now they have an advantage over the Packers. If somehow, some way they're tied and that last spot is on the line, the Giants might sneak and make the playoffs. That's how tough it is in those last 2 spots in the NFC. But, hey, Tommy DeVito and the crew, they still in it. So much love to the New York Giants. They're at 26. At 25, another team that won on Monday night, shocking the NFL world. The Tennessee Titans get a win over the Dolphins. They scored 14 points in the last 3 minutes to win the game and put themselves still technically in the mix. It was their first road win of the year. They were 0-6 on the road coming into that one, and they win 28-27 over the Dolphins, who had a Tyreek Hill who got nicked up in this game. So he did come back, but it was still like, it was just a little bit of a tough one for Miami. They're going to have to regroup. That'll be a very interesting episode of Hard Knocks this week. So we'll have to definitely check in on that. Titans at 25. At 24, the New York Jets, another team with a surprising victory this past week. The bottom teams did really good. The bottom teams did pretty solid. I'm just going to throw that in there. So out of the 12 teams, we saw the Patriots get a win. We saw the Giants get a win. The Titans get a win. The Jets get a win. The Bears get a win. 5 wins. And then you saw the Falcons, who were right there on the cusp of getting a win. So out of the 10 teams, the bottom went 5-5 last week. But yeah, the Jets get a nice win over the Texans, 30-6. And the Texans really came out of this game banged up. You see C.J. Stroud enter concussion protocol. Not something you want to see, but it did happen. And then we also, they lost Tank Dell last week. We also saw I have a brain fart here trying to remember receivers' names. Nico Collins got hurt. He was out. And so it was just a really rough day. Great day for Zach Wilson. 301 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. What? Garrett Wilson, 9 receptions, 108 yards. Guess what, y'all? The Jets are still in it, which also means as long as they're not eliminated, they will. Aaron Rodgers could play next week. I might get to see Aaron Rodgers play next week against the Commanders. And we'll see. They're at 24. At 23, the Chicago Bears could win. Great win for them against the Lions. Big win in the NFC North, and they won that one 28-13. They handled that game. Fields had a great day. DJ Moore had a great day. Things that I thought we would see from this Bear team all year. But guess what? Still in the mix. Still can make the playoffs. Chicago Bears at 23. At 22, a team still in the mix. But pretty much every team from 29 or 30 up are in the mix still. But Seattle, tough one against the 49ers, losing 28-16. And we just saw McCaffrey be McCaffrey. We saw Purdy be Purdy. Now we know why both of those guys are in the running for MVP. Deebo Samuel, 7 receptions, 149 yards, and a TD. 49ers are starting to look unstoppable again. They went on that 3-game losing streak, and since that 3-game losing streak, they haven't lost. They've been right back on it. So Seahawks at 22. But now the Seahawks, who were in the playoff spot for a while, have now faded out. They still got a chance, though. They're still in the mix. That's our new thing, still in the mix. At 21, Atlanta lost a tough one to this Buccaneers team. And it was a tight game, and Buccaneers ended up winning that one 29-25 to, guess what, take the lead in the South. The South has been rotated between the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons here in the last couple of weeks. And so it's just like, who's gonna? I got to look at the schedule to see if any of these teams play each other right at the end of the season. But right now, it's who's going to be playing who is going to be very interesting. Falcons at 21. So there it is, the bottom. Panthers, Patriots, Cardinals, Commanders, Raiders, Chargers, Giants, Titans. I was say Giants, Jets, Bears, Seahawks, and Falcons. Well, there it is. The bottom right now, 5 teams getting a win in the bottom last week. Like I said earlier this year, I felt like the bottom, there were some teams that would still kind of try to find a way or sneak their way towards the end. And we're right there in that situation. Of course, with the NFC South being the way it is, it's going to kind of look that way for those bottom teams in the Saints and the Falcons. Let's go ahead and hit them up with the outside looking in. Outside looking in for week 15. At number 20, the New Orleans Saints. So Saints are at number 20. We got the Buccaneers sitting at 19. And that NFC South we were talking about, Saints did get a win. Obviously, the Bucs got their win. And it's just one of those things where you get a chance to see this division is just kind of battling it out right now. Mike Evans is continue to add to his Pro Bowl repertoire out there in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay still fighting. They got to take on the number 18 team in our power rankings this week, the Green Bay Packers this week. So the NFC is just going to be crazy. It's just going to be absolutely crazy. But the Saints, they got their win over the Panthers. They looked phenomenal. That's what we thought, or at least that's what I thought the Saints would look like all year long. They're at 20. At 19, of course, the Bucs getting their win over the Falcons in a tough matchup. And that, like I said, that division is going to be a dogfight until the end. The Packers at 18. Tough, ugly loss to the Giants. And they still had a chance to win it at the end. But the defense could not stop them. They just could not stop Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Matilda's dad. They just couldn't stop him. And so a young Packers team reverted back to the team that we saw between, weeks 2 and week 6. As my man Deshaun Rucker said, he went right back to that form last Monday night. So that's not what you want to see. Not what you want to see if you're a Packers fan or a Packer enthusiast like myself. The Packers are at 18. At 17, the Rams. The Rams are playing really good football right now. And I think that even though they lost a really tough one, a really rough matchup to a really good Baltimore Ravens team, and they hung with them, blow to blow. And and they just couldn't pull it off. The Rams, who are 7-6, who are 6-7 as well. So I'm sorry that I said 6-6. I still think this team is going to be in the mix. They got the Commanders this weekend, and I think that's a game that they can win. So we'll see if they can keep hanging in into the playoff picture. We got the Rams at 17. At 16, the Pittsburgh Steelers currently holding the 6th seed in the AFC, but it's a little tough right now because that offense is not clicking, and I don't think Trubisky is the answer. And who knows? They may even go to Mason Rudolph. It's bad, y'all. It's bad. And New England showed up and showed out last Thursday night. Steelers at 16. At 15, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings in that 3-0 fiasco against the Raiders, they got the win, and they currently hold the 6th seed in the NFC. So they're hanging in there. At 14, the Colts, the current number 7 seed in the AFC, probably surprising a lot of people this year. And they got beat up against the number 11 team in the power rankings this week, the Cincinnati Bengals. They just got beat up. It wasn't cute. But Cincinnati's back-to-back wins with Jake Brown in that QB. Watch out now. Watch out. Colts at 14. At 13, the Denver Broncos. Broncos get the win. They went into a situation where they most definitely needed a win, and in a tough environment in LA, but they went in there and looked good. Russell Wilson is still reverting back to old Russell Wilson this year. I still don't think he has maybe enough pieces around him, but they're fighting, and you got to respect that. They're 7-6, 13 on the power rankings. At 12, the Texans. The Texans lost bad to the Jets. We still got them at 12 because I like this team, but if they're beat up, who knows where they may fall as this thing continues to go. At 11, the Cincinnati Bengals, very impressive, still in the playoff hunt, battling it out, trying to get that last spot. And once again, Cincinnati, even without Burrow, you don't want to see that team in the playoffs because they've been to most of these players have been to the Super Bowl. They know what it takes to win, and if they can get solid play from Jake Brown, and who knows? Who knows? All right, outside of looking in, Saints, Bucks, Packers, Rams, Steelers, Vikings, Colts, Broncos, Texans, and Bengals. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our outside looking in for Week 15. It's going to be a dogfight. That's all I really got to say about that. It's going to be a dogfight from here on out. Let's go ahead and give you the top 10. Top 10. Little movement in the top 10 this week. At number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Nice win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought about putting them above them, but still, as long as you got Trevor Lawrence, they're going to be all right. Now, he's still hurt. So, and that Browns defense is good. And I know a lot of people are like, man, well, how did you have them over and they won? I understand that. I still like Jacksonville long term than I like the Browns right now. And so, but I like the Browns defense. And if they can get Joe Flacco to just give them a hint of that Super Bowl run from 2012, the sky could be the limit for the Cleveland Browns. They're at 10. At 9, the Buffalo Bills. Now, currently, Buffalo's not even in the playoffs. But I like this team. I still, even though it's been ugly from time to time this year, I still like Buffalo, and I still think they can make a decent run. If they get in the playoffs, they're not the 7 or 6 seed you want to see if you're the third or the 2nd seed. You don't want those problems. Heck, even if they're 5th seed, you don't want to see them, especially them being a later seed, and you just don't want that. But they're battling, and they got a nice win over the Super Bowl champs. That's back-to-back years they've beat them in the regular season. Bills at 9. At 8, Jacksonville coming off of a bad loss to the Browns at 31-27. And we talked about Joe Flacco toss-back game, or throwback game, I should say. 3 touchdowns, a pick, 311 yards. Great day. Great day for Joe Flacco and the Browns. And then we have the Jacksonville Jaguars that are still trying to get themselves together. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they can get Trevor Lawrence healthy before things get a little bit out of hand. They're at 8. At 7, the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs are struggling. I mean, is that 3 straight losses for the Chiefs? I could be wrong on there, but at least 2 straight losses. One to the Packers, and then obviously this one to the Bills. So a lot of frustration going on right now in Kansas City, and they're trying to get back out of that tough situation. And I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But it's been a rough go because they've lost to the Bills, the Packers, and recently also lost to the Eagles. So that's something that they've got to try to get over the hump. But as long as Kansas City's in the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous, dangerous team as long as you got Patrick Mahomes. At 6, the Lions. Lions coming off of another tough loss. A lot of losses in this top 10 this week. Jags, Chiefs, Lions, and then Eagles, Dolphins. You know, a lot of the top 10 teams lost this week. With the Lions, I think they can bounce back. I still like them overall, but it's tough. Sometimes those division matchups, you just don't know how they're going to go. So Lions at 6. At 5, the Miami Dolphins. You know, Dolphins had a 2-touchdown lead, gave it away. Yeah, at least a 2-possession lead and gave it away, and let a Titans team that is still hungry and still fighting, and Will Levis looking great out there. You know, those are the things you want to see if you're a Tennessee Titans fan. 327 yards, a touchdown, and NIT. Just one NIT, but they played well. And then we saw D-Hop have a great day, 7 receptions for 124 yards and a TD. So good job, Titans. Dolphins are at 5. Hard Knocks is going to be fun this week. At 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 back-to-back losses for the Eagles, losing to the 49ers and then losing to the Cowboys, who you see now are 1-3 in our power rankings. The Eagles need a little bit of a reset coming into this week. They got Seattle, but that's not going to be a cupcake game because guess what? Seattle's hungry. They're at least they're going to be hungry to try to get into the playoffs. So this is essentially a playoff matchup for the Seahawks. So, and they're at home. So the Eagles are really going to have to come and show up and show out here in Week 15. At number 3, the Dallas Cowboys coming off that 33-13 victory over the Eagles, a very impressive 20-point victory. All the things I said about the Cowboys, hey, look, they haven't beat anybody. Guess what? They beat somebody in the Eagles. Congratulations, Cowboys. Y'all look good. Glad my brother-in-law Charles got to see it in person. His first time ever going to a Dallas game, getting to go to Dallas and see his boys play. So hope he truly enjoyed it. At number 2, the Baltimore Ravens coming off overtime win 37-31. Tylan Wallace with the walk-off kickoff return for the win. And Baltimore 10-3, number 2 team in the power rankings this week, number 1 seed in the AFC. And, of course, number 1, the San Francisco 49ers, 28-16 victory over the Seahawks. They are number 1 for back-to-back weeks. Top 10. We've got the Browns, the Bills, the Jaguars, the Chiefs, the Lions, Dolphins, Eagles, Cowboys, Ravens, and the San Francisco 49ers. So that's where we finish off in the top 10. Now we're going to finish this thing up, ladies and gentlemen, with the finale. This week. So first off, let's go with our players of the week for last week. Mr. Brock Purdy, 19 for 27, 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. It's just Purdy just looks great. He's like number 1 in a lot of the statistical or quite a few of the most important statistical things at the quarterback position. And that's why people look at him as the MVP right now. Now, personally, I have him, which we will show you in just a second. I have him at number 2. But there's a teammate, in my opinion, that deserves it a little bit more. But that's just me. But Purdy is our offensive player of the week. Defensive player of the week, Ivan Pace Jr., who had to deal with that slugfest, 13 tackles, 1 sack, and an interception in the win over Vegas. Those are our offensive and defensive player of the week. And the MVP, McCaffrey is my number 1 guy right now. Last week I had him at number 2. Well, I had him at number 1 last week, had Tyreek Hill at number 2. Tyreek falls back, but that's due to injury. Right now I have it McCaffrey, Purdy, Jackson, Prescott, who's new into the power rankings for our MVP candidates this week. He's been playing lights out football at the QB position and deserves some recognition. So we got him at 4, and at 5, Tyreek Hill. Then looking in our NFL Pick'ems League, this is where we stand. Experts of the week, Rob, Larry, and Joey, 9 and 6. It was a rough week for the experts. A lot of 6 and 7s, a lot of 7 and 6s, and we had 6 and 9s, a lot of 8 and 7s, just like middle of the road things. But the playoffs is getting tight. Russ still holding on to the lead in the All-Star division, 133 wins. He's got a 3-game lead over Christina. You saw Russ go 5-10. We also saw Larry get a Lone Ranger victory last week. Congratulations to Larry. And then looking in the All-Star division, James has crept up just a little bit. James is only 2 games out of that number 1 seed. He could take the number 1 seed from Russ. It's in his grasp. He's got a 5-game lead over me. I had a setback last week, y'all. I had chances, man. Don't look at that 11-2 because that's not accurate. I didn't go 11-2 last week. I actually went way worse than that. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. Some of these records are not correct on the week of so I'm gonna go back and fix those. But it was a bad week for me. I went 6-9. Playoffs as of right now, if the playoffs started today, we got Russ at the 1 seed, James at the 2, Christina 3, Ty at 4, myself at 5, and Larry sneaking in right now. He's holding on tight to that 6th spot, but he's got 3 people behind him in Justice, Victor, and Justice, Victor, and Joey, all looking to take that 6th spot from Larry, and the playoffs start next week. If the playoffs started in the NFL today, right now the Ravens are the 1 seed in the AFC. The Miami Dolphins, the 2 seed, would take on the 7 seed Colts. The 3 seeded Chiefs would take on the 6 seeded Seahawks. Steelers, and the number 4 seed Jaguars will take on the number 5 seed Cleveland Browns. In the NFC, the new number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers would get that bye. The number 2 seed Cowboys would take on the number 7 seed Green Bay Packers. We've seen that story before. It'd be a little bit different storylines with Mike McCarthy involved. The number 3 seed Lions would take on the number 6 seed Vikings. The number 4 seed, new number 4 seed, Tampa Bay Buccaneers would take on the new number 5 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. My record right now overall 126 and 82, 11-2 last week, 6-9 this week. We'll see how things go and see if I can solidify that playoff spot in the Pick'em League. For tonight, I have the Raiders winning this one 16-13. I don't see this being a really – it's going to be a bad game. I don't see a high-scoring affair. I mean, 16-13 may be nice. It's maybe more 9-6, but we're going to say 16-13 to be generous on Thursday Night Football. And then last but not least here, my picks for the week. I got the Raiders, Bengals, Colts, Lions, Bucks, Rams, Dolphins, Titans, Saints, Falcons, Bears, Chiefs, 49ers, Bills, Ravens, and Eagles. Now, I'm not picking Green Bay anymore. I told y'all I messed up. I should have never picked them last week. I hadn't picked them in weeks, and they pretty much won every game. And then I pick them, and those are the things that have happened. So here's what it is. Once again, everybody, would like to thank you all for joining us for episode 119 of 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and also airing on Bowie Television. Make sure if you get an opportunity to check all of our social media platforms, check all of our good stuff that we got going on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, as well as on Bowie Television. So make sure you check it all out. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week to bring you episode 120, and we'll bring you a Week 16 Power Rankings where we'll be that much closer. Next week, I'm heading to New York to see the Commanders take on the Jets. Well, New Jersey. You know how that go. Anyway, everybody, enjoy. Tomorrow is my birthday, the sexiest day of the year, and I'm very excited about it. Cannot wait to turn 39 and, one more year to 40. Go figure, y'all. Go figure. Once again, everybody, I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, Bowie Television. Until next time.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the